It's 3 a.m. The house is silent. You're exhausted, leaning over the crib, and you see it. Your baby isn't looking at you. They aren't looking at their stuffed elephant. They are staring absolutely transfixed at a dark corner of the ceiling where there is nothing. They might even giggle, or worse, they might track something invisible moving across the room with their eyes. Your first thought? Great, the house is haunted, and my 3-month-old is the only one who knows. But before you call an exorcist or put the house on Zillow, I have some good news for you. That ghost your baby is watching, it's actually a fascinating mixture of biological hardware and psychological software. Welcome back to Baby's Mind Secrets. Today, we are decoding the ceiling stare. We're going to explain exactly what your baby is seeing, why the ceiling is more interesting than your face right now, and the incredible brain building that's happening during those creepy, silent stares. By the end of this video, you'll stop worrying about paranormal activity and start understanding the genius of your baby's developing mind. Let's get into it. To understand why babies stare at the ceiling, we first have to understand the equipment they're working with. When a baby is born, their vision is, to put it politely, terrible. A newborn's vision is roughly 26/100ths. To put that in perspective, if you had 26/100ths vision as an adult, you wouldn't be legally allowed to drive. You'd barely be allowed to walk to the mailbox without a guide. Everything more than 8 to 12 inches away from their face is a blurry, impressionistic watercolor painting. They live in a world of fuzzy shapes and muted colors. So, why the ceiling? Well, think about what a ceiling usually has. High contrast. In a world of blur, a baby's brain is hungry for definition. They are biologically programmed to seek out edges and boundaries. This is called the edge preference. If you have white crown molding against a slightly darker wall, or a dark ceiling fan against a light-colored ceiling, that line is the clearest thing in the entire room for them. To a baby, that simple line where the wall meets the ceiling looks like a high-definition IMAX movie. Their brains are working overtime to map the world. By staring at the ceiling, they are practicing visual acuity. They are trying to figure out where one object ends and another begins. It's not a ghost. It's just the very first time they've successfully focused their eyes on a 3D boundary. Now, we have to talk about the undisputed king of baby entertainment, the ceiling fan. If your baby stares at the ceiling, chances are they are obsessed with the fan even if it isn't moving. Why? Because the ceiling fan is a masterclass in visual tracking and geometric symmetry. Psychologically, babies are attracted to 3 things: movement, high-contrast circular patterns. The ceiling fan is the triple threat. The blades create clear dark lines against a light background. When it's spinning, it allows the baby to practice smooth pursuit, the ability of the eyes to follow a moving object without moving the head. But here's the secret in Baby's Mind Secrets. Even when the fan is off, your baby might still stare at it. This is because their brain is performing mental completion. They remember that the object can move, or they are fascinated by the spoke pattern. In the world of child psychology, we call this the circular schema. Babies are fascinated by things that go around, things that rotate, and things that have a center point. By staring at the fan, they are beginning to understand the physics of rotation. You see a dusty appliance. They see a mechanical wonder that defies their understanding of the world. We'll get to the Zen state and the ghost theory in a second. But first, let's be real for a moment. If you've ever stood in the middle of your living room, waving your arms and making cooing noises to get your baby's attention, only to have them completely ignore you in favor of a popcorn-textured ceiling, you are not alone. It's a blow to the ego, isn't it? You provide the milk, the diapers, the cuddles, and they'd rather look at a 60-watt light bulb. If you're currently in the "my baby thinks the ceiling is more interesting than me" phase of parenting, welcome to the club. Hit that subscribe button and join our community here at Baby's Mind Secrets. We help you understand your baby's brain so you don't take their rejection personally. We're here to remind you that you're doing a great job, even if your primary rival for your child's affection is a piece of drywall. Hit that bell icon and let us know in the comments, is your baby a fan fanatic or a corner starer? Let's see which ceiling feature wins the popular vote. Have you ever been to a loud, crowded party and just needed to step outside for a minute of silence? That is exactly what a baby is doing when they stare at the ceiling. This is the psychology of sensory regulation. The world is intense for a baby. Every smell is new, every sound is loud, and every face is a complex landscape of moving parts. A human face is actually one of the most stimulating things a baby can look at. It's got eyes, a mouth that moves, changing expressions, and a voice attached to it. Sometimes a baby's nervous system gets overloaded. When their brain feels like it's about to crash from too much data, they look away. They look for the most boring, static, predictable thing in the room. The ceiling is the ultimate reset button. It doesn't move. It doesn't make noise. It doesn't ask them for a smile. By staring at the ceiling, your baby is actually practicing self-soothing. They are taking a mental health minute to process the information they've already gathered. It's a sign of a very healthy, self-regulating brain. If your baby turns away from you to look at the ceiling, don't force them back. They're just rebooting their system. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room, or rather the ghost in the corner. Why do they sometimes track things that aren't there? First, there's light reflection. A car passing by outside, a dust mote catching a sunbeam, or a reflection from your phone can create a tiny, moving light on the ceiling. Because their peripheral vision is actually better than their central vision in the early months, they pick up these micro movements that we as adults have learned to tune out. Second, there are eye floaters. We all have them tiny bits of protein drifting in the vitreous humor of our eyes. As adults, our brains ignore them. But to a baby, it's a tiny, moving toy that follows them wherever they look. So when they are tracking something invisible across the ceiling, they might just be chasing a piece of their own eye anatomy. However, there is a psychological element called social anticipation. By 3 or 4 months, babies begin to realize that people enter through doors and appear from corners. They may stare at a corner not because they see something, but because they are expecting something. Their brain is priming the visual cortex to be ready for the next interesting thing to appear. So, how do you handle this behavior? Do you need to fix it? Absolutely not. But you can use it to help their brain grow. Here are 4 steps to handle the ceiling stare. Step 1. Respect the do not disturb sign. If your baby is staring at the ceiling and seems calm or zoned out, let them be. This is vital for their attention span development. If we constantly interrupt their focus to try and make them look at us, we are actually teaching them to have a shorter attention span. Let them finish their experiment with the ceiling before you jump in. Step 2. Use high contrast cards. If you see them searching for edges, give them some eye candy. Place black and white high contrast cards about 10 inches from their face. This satisfies that edge preference we talked about and helps strengthen their optic nerve without overstimulating them. Step 3. Check the light level. If your baby is staring at the ceiling and seems fussy or stuck, the room might be too bright. Remember, the ceiling is their escape. If the ceiling is also covered in bright lights, they have nowhere to go to rest their eyes. Dim the lights and see if they relax. Step 4. Watch for the red flags. While staring at the ceiling is 99% of the time totally normal, there are 2 things to watch for. Lack of eye contact. By 3 months, your baby should be able to break the ceiling stare to look at you when you speak, the sunset eye. If their eyes seem to be permanently pulled downward, or if they only look at the ceiling and never at people, bring it up with your pediatrician, just to rule out any physical vision issues. The next time you see your baby staring at the ceiling, don't see a blank stare. See a scientist mapping a 3D world. See a Zen master regulating their nervous system. And see a tiny human being absolutely captivated by the miracle of a single straight line. Your baby isn't seeing ghosts. They are seeing the world for the very first time. If you found this video helpful, please give us a like. It tells YouTube that this content is valuable for other parents. Your next step, you need to understand what happens when they finally look down and start interacting with you. Watch our video on the secret language of baby babbling right here. Thanks for watching Baby's Mind Secrets. We'll see you in the next one.